Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about 5 signs that the avoidant cares.
And yes, they actually can care.
They do?
They do.
It can be hard to realize that someone cares about you, especially when they keep ending the relationship, shutting down, running away. And so a lot of times you're just like, they don't even care. It doesn't seem like they even care about me.
Yeah, it can be really tough to find the ways that avoidants do show love and care, but they do. So we figured we would share this video because sometimes their methods might be a little bit unconventional or difficult to spot, but these are the ways that we see avoidants showing care.
Okay, so what are they? Because I want to know. My ex doesn't care. How do I know they do? What do you look for?
A big one is acts of service. So this is one of the 5 love languages, and this can look like them doing something for you, fulfilling a practical need. It can be fixing your car like they said they would. It could be making something for you or cooking for you or cleaning for you. It could be a way of showing love that's a little bit easier than the ooey gooey affectionate type where it might be more words of affirmation or physical touch. This is a more practical way of showing love. Well, you just needed those things done.
Yeah,
so I just made sure that those things were done.
They take care of a task, something that they knew might be a burden to you, or something that you're not good at. That I see a lot of men coming over to fix the plumbing, the actual plumbing. Okay. So that's a big one. I've had so many women over the years that are like, he said he was going to fix his sink or whatever it was. And the guys, they do it. They stick to it, right?
And for some of you questioning if your avoidant ex ever loved you, sometimes you can kind of retroactively look back at your relationship and see the ways that they've shown up with acts of service. You know, I've had calls where maybe there's men who are working really hard in their job and they're thinking, man, I'm trying to build this future and gain this financial stability so that me and my partner can be set up well. And the other partner just sees, man, they're just at work all the time.
That is a great point. I actually just had a call 2 days ago where the guy literally said that to me. He was working all the time. He came from a very successful family and he was a very successful guy in his business and in his field. And he said, I was working all the time to be successful, but a big part of that was to be successful for us. Literally just said that. So that's perfect.
It's something I see a lot. And I'll say particularly with men as they have that theme of being providers and, more pressure in that way. But it could be really either way. And it could also be women working really hard to set things up and make sure that things are okay in a practical sense.
Absolutely. They literally will come over, feed your cat while you're away on your business trip or whatever you have going on. You have a family event. They take care of the animal, the pet that you have, because they know it's important to you and they want to do the right thing.
Right. And we also talk about checking in on the cat. So one of the indirect direct messages we talk about that you might get from an ex in no contact could be, how's the cat doing?
I miss that cat.
I miss the cat. And this can really be a displacement of their affection and love for you, intentionally displacing that in order to not seem as weak or vulnerable or ooey gooey. Right?
And I think for some reason, cats are a little bit easier for people to say they miss because, dogs are wanting constant attention. They're kind of around you all the time. They're a lot more loyal in your space. Whereas cats are a little bit more come and go and can give that space. So it's kind of almost reflective of them in a way, right?
Yeah, it can be. I know there's some of you with super cuddly cats that are typing, not my cat. My cat's the cuddliest.
But there's, for the most part,
Cats
we
are
can
more
all
aloof.
agree, cats tend to be more aloof.
Yeah. All right, another big reason or sign that you see that an avoidant actually cares is surveillance. It shows that there's still some emotional investment there. They still care, they still want to know, there's still curiosity there. And that can be also another form of checking in. I want to just make sure everything's okay.
Yeah. We see a lot of avoidants do this. And it's so frustrating for the anxious person because the anxious person is like, I don't understand. If they don't want to be with me, why are they still looking? They sound like Esteban. Why do they look? I don't care. You don't want to be with me. Why do you even care? Why do you look? It makes me crazy.
It's true. It can be really aggravating because you're saying, why don't you just say something? Just talk to me. I'm here. You know how to contact me.
Yes.
Swipe up and just comment instead. Just say something.
I know. I get why you're feeling like that, but people aren't black and white. Mm-hmm. They can experience, the missing you, but it could be not enough to reach out, or they're thinking about the consequences of reaching out. What will happen? You'll pressure them. You'll bombard them with talking about the relationship. And so they have to be ready to actually follow through with it.
Right.
So they can care enough to watch and care enough to feel that space, but not prepared to do it yet, right? Like, you can be a little bit hungry, but not hungry enough to eat. It's not black or white where you're hungry, all of a sudden you eat. Mm-hmm. It's gradual. You gradually get more and more hungry to the point where you're going to eat. Well, people can be like that too, where they gradually want to connect with you more and more as the space grows, and maybe reevaluating things goes in their mind, or their feelings can change in no contact. Those things can make them do certain things, but it's going to be dependent on your behavior. Right. So you can allow them to look, just don't reach out, don't break no contact, because that makes it easy for them again. They're like, okay, I know they still want me.
Right. And it can be difficult to be direct. Sometimes that takes a level of vulnerability to directly message you and start that conversation. It could be easier to just view something that's public from afar, keep an eye on it, feel like you have some semblance of knowing what's going on, mm-hmm. showing your curiosity, and that's about it.
Yeah, it soothes them a little bit. Mm-hmm. They feel a little better. Oh, okay. I know they're not dating anyone else. Mm-hmm. They left my pictures up. Right. What are they posting about? Where are they at? What are they doing? Oh, I feel connected again. Mm-hmm. And then that makes them feel a little bit better.
And the funny thing is sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. They're saying, who's that? What's that foot in the corner? Who's that?
I saw a toe.
Right.
4 months later. Whose toe was that?
All right. Another thing is they remember the little things. This is a big deal for somebody who's more avoidant. Mm-hmm. They put in that effort to remember. Maybe it's an important date, a birthday. It could be an event that's happening in your life. Maybe you've had a family member that was ill and they ask and check in. How's that family member? How are things going in your life? Mm-hmm. So them remembering the important stuff is important and shows that stuff is also important to them to some degree.
Yep. Good one. Got one more for you. Mm-hmm. And that is, if you see somebody that is putting your interests first. Avoidants tend to not want to do things that they don't want to do, right? Like, many people will say, okay, my partner really likes to sing, I'll do it with them. Whereas an avoidant might be like, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. Like, imagine Larry David, right? You're trying to ask David to do something he doesn't want to do. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. Oh, no, right? So if they make that effort to do it, that's a big sign that they care, that they're willing to sacrifice their time to do something that you enjoy.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's even sacrificing their independence or mm-hmm. their choice, right? So they go along with your agency, with your independence, and they're able to kind of tag along, depend, enjoy with you, share. So these are some things that can be more challenging for somebody who's more avoidant, is to be tied to someone in that way. But them showing their care is them being willing to do those things, and sometimes enthusiastic, sometimes into it. So those are some signs that they care.
Yep. So you might want to look back at your relationship and reevaluate from the perspective of, okay, this is what an avoidant looks like. Mm-hmm. When they care. Was my ex doing these things or other things? Maybe you have other things that we didn't cover or touch upon. Share it in the comments. We'd like to see more things mm-hmm. of what you felt like you saw your avoidant do to show that they cared.
Right. And we talk to clients who are very avoidant, and sometimes after a breakup, they'll share and express their regret in not being all ooey gooey and affectionate and saying more with words how much they cared or how much they loved their partner. But sometimes they'll say, but I tried to show them I did this for them and I did that for them, and I went to their great grandmother's, whatever it was, get together, and I did this and I did that. And so there are other ways of showing care, and sometimes we hear this from our avoidant clients.
Took care of her plumbing. I took care of her cat. Right? Everything looked great.
Right? Her great-grandmother's baby shower. I was there for that.
Her great-grandmother's baby shower.
Yeah,
If we got a great-grandmother having a baby, that's a
Puerto
whole
Rican.
nother set of problems right there.
kidding.
Well, you're Puerto Rican, you could say
I
it.
know, I just said I'm Puerto Rican. So, point here is that love can be shown in many different ways. Of course, it's great to hear it. Of course, words are very powerful. And my positive feel-good end note here is tell people you love them and you care about them. Don't break no contact to do that.
Don't do that.
Other people in your life do that. But we do hear from avoidant clients that their love is shown in many different ways. So just keep an open mind about that. Reflect back. Think about some of the things we talked about and if it relates to your situation.
Absolutely. Hopefully this one's been helpful to you. And of course, if you want to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name at the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.